If it hadn't have been for Cotton Eye Joe, I'd be working here long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? This week we're jumping right on in with our partner network. So grab your partner and get ready to do-si-do. We've got a wicked world of BCD coming at you. Well, welcome to episode 17, A World of BCD. Can you believe that we just passed 1,300 downloads this week? Pretty big feat considering we just started this in a circle of 10 people, and now it seems to just be taking a lot of traction around the business, which is awesome because that's the point. We're trying to educate ourselves on ourselves, and I hope that you can share this today with somebody that may not have heard it. In fact, if you want a really cool episode to pass on to somebody, try episode 8 with Mr. Robert Frieser, who speaks to us about the finance and global controlling out of the Netherlands. But right now, I am sitting here in front of a Mr. Iain Withers. Welcome to the show, Iain, and I'm just going to hand you the microphone because my intro's over. Why don't you tell us who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Chico. Well, I'm proud to be a member of the Global Network team. Roughly about 14 people across the 3 regions, looking after our non-owned markets. So Global Network, you know, it's exciting stuff. There's lots going on. It's a couple of things really for our globe. So it's best to understand it as from the client perspective, it's really almost like a brand guarantee. Our global network is really the guarantee that our customers will have, that our services and solutions are going to be consistently delivered wherever their travelers are across the globe. And I guess on the other side, kind of on a more practical level, the global network is our footprint. So for us, it's the non-owned markets. We've referred to them as partners before. And it's really the footprint for 70% of BCD's global coverage. So, you know, there's lots of variety in there. We tend to generalize, but it's, there's lots going on with it. I would say my role specifically is looking at how we can get greater synergies by working closer together across the 3 regions. So we have global network teams in APAC, in EMEA, and in Latin America. And, you know, they've all kind of evolved over the last 10, 12 years in fairly different ways. So now we're trying to see, well, what are the opportunities and synergies to kind of close the gaps and bring some things and best practices across those 3 regions. So my role, I'm focusing on these things we call the 4 C's, and that's really looking at communication, coordination, collaboration, and calibration.
Oh boy. The alliterations, let them run free. Yeah. And I can't wait to unpack those 4 C's as we continue to chat through this week's podcast. Do you know that this topic was actually sent in as a request from one of our listeners? And I think that what's really cool about that is we have many people that work for us at BCD, like yourself, like myself, but you get to work with that external network, and we want to understand more as to what that does and how that impacts us. So do you mind if I back us up just a second, Iain?
Yep. No, go for it.
So you mentioned that, you know, we call them partners, we call them affiliates, and they're the extension to our brand. What do they have to go through, like some sort of accreditation to become a partner? Do we call them affiliates, partners? What's the difference? Maybe you can step into that space for a second.
Yeah, great question. I think the big distinction is affiliates is the US program. So that's really nothing to do with our department at Global Networks. The US affiliates is a separately run program, and that terminology is only used for them.
Okay.
There are certain areas where we do collaborate with the affiliate team. So we're definitely in coordination on a number of projects that are going on, and sometimes in marketing and comms efforts, those kind of things. But they are quite different because I guess with the affiliates, they're all in the US market. With the global network, our approach is different. We have, you know, we do call them partners, and we want to really cement that partnership, and that's our job. We've this sort of small core team, and we're really there to develop the relationships, develop the partnerships, make sure it's a win-win, and ultimately that we can deliver what our global customers are looking for. The other major difference is with our partners. It's an exclusive program, so we will only ever have one partner in a country, and we want to make sure that we select best-in-class leading agencies that, are aligned to our goals and objectives. And that's not just kind of, okay, can you handle global customers? That even goes as far as to say, well, culturally, what's the leadership like? What's the management like? Are they, looking to develop and invest in technology? How are they seeing the changing industry? We don't really want to partner with traditional travel agents that haven't kind of moved on as the industry's changing. There's so much going on with distribution and content, and we want to engage the partners. We want to learn from them as much as, them learning from us.
That's awesome, Iain. And when we tie this, if we take another high-level view at this, how do you as the partner network team align this back to strategy? Like, what is your outcome? What's the win for BCD, and how does it tie into what we're all doing from a strategic standpoint?
So for us, it's really, we adhere to the global Focus 4 goals.
Well played.
Excuse the slip up. But yeah, so we are tied in to those goals and objectives. Our job is then to educate the partners and kind of bring them up to speed with that. I mentioned the 4 Cs earlier. I mean, of those, our focus this year has really been around communication. So we want to make sure that our partners know how we're thinking and what are the things we're looking at, and how could they take some of that and implement that in their business. But equally, they need to tell us how they're changing their business, and is the strategy they have still the right fit for them? Because there's different things going on in these different markets.
Iain, when you think of competitors, and this is a random tangent question here, like when I'm thinking about our people and our workforce, right? And we look around in the marketplace, there's sometimes different pools of people that we would love to bring into BCD. Is the same thing happening for our competitors? Do they have a partner network that you would go and potentially pull partners from to bring to our partner network? Or do they come to us because they know that our partner network's strong?
I guess the positive that we have at BCD is that our global network has largely been together for 10 years plus. So you take the Latin America team, for example, majority of those markets have been together for more than 20 years. So it's a very solid unit working together really well. Similarly in EMEA and in APAC, we've got partners that have been with us for a long, long time, well over 10 years. It's only in incidents, I guess, where sometimes agencies fail for various reasons. Right. Could be market conditions, could be other things. And that's where we've had to make changes in the past. But, ultimately, that's something we want to avoid. We want longevity and continuity and consistency. Those things are key to us. So that's why, although the global network is a very small team, they do put the effort in to make sure that the partners we have are the partners that we want to be with for a very long time. It's, we call it a partnership, but it's probably more like a marriage. We really want to cement it, and we don't want to have to change.
Through better or through worse, right?
Exactly.
Iain, when it comes to interacting with our partners, I know that you would probably be a big champion of that. How do we find our partners?
I'd strongly recommend anybody that's got access to Salesforce, just log in, look up KNQ or Key Network Questionnaire, and there you will find a list of all of our countries. It's got all of our wholly owned markets, our partner markets, plus our US affiliates, and it's full of information. There's everything you might want to know there about our partners, including contact information to get in touch with them directly. So definitely, if you haven't looked at the K&Qs, do so. We're also starting to build partner showcase material into the K&Q feed. So, if our partners do have kind of other business streams or just updates for what's going on in their markets, have a look at the K&Q feeds and follow the markets that are most of interest to you, because there's stuff coming there all the time. There's also these WOWs, or where in the world, where we're listing out unique stuff about the markets that could help the account managers if they're looking to network business in and all sorts. So Key Network Questionnaire, K&Q in Salesforce, that's the place to go.
So, Iain, the four C's, I'm fascinated with this. Maybe you can camp out there for a second and just talk to us again. What are the four C's? And if you had to choose one for the current state that we're in, which one would you choose?
Okay, so four C's: collaboration, communication, consolidation, and calibration. So I guess if we just take a quick summary of each of those, collaboration, the global network is all about collaboration. As I keep mentioning, it's a fairly limited resource. We're a small team, but actually we rely massively on other departments, and other departments do an awful lot for us. It's phenomenal. We do collaborate across many different areas, whether that's operations, technology, finance,
So that's
legal.
that's not collaboration with the partners. That's collaboration also within BCD.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
exactly.
cool. Because I'm sure many of our
Yeah.
listeners have had touch points with the partner network too. That's interesting.
And I'd like to just take the opportunity to thank those departments, because we get a lot of support from everyone around the globe, and that's really great, and we're thankful for it. But also, you're right. We do collaborate with the partners, and we want to do more. And as I mentioned before, they want to do more with themselves, so they want a greater opportunity to collaborate on business, whether that's global customers, local corporate business, or other travel-related businesses that they may have. Some of them have sports specialisms, some of them have leisure or MICE. We work closely, obviously, with BCD M&E, because some of our partners are also the BCD M&E partners. So there's lots of avenues to pursue, but we just need to keep all of them moving and keep all the plates spinning to make that work.
Nice analogy. Nice analogy. So that's collaboration. What about the high-level other C's?
I'd say communication. Again, as I mentioned before, this is probably the biggest focus for this year, and that is just trying to ensure that our network feel that they're engaged and they know what's going on. In terms of consolidation, again, just looking for those synergies. Where can we kind of improve our efforts for certain things and make sure we're just working smarter? If we've got I don't know, let's say a contract tracking spreadsheet, there's probably one in each region, and actually, why don't we just have one for all three regions? It's simple stuff like that, but we've just never had the luxury to stop and take a breath and look at where we're duplicating efforts. So we really want to kind of look at more of that internal kind of administrative stuff and see, well, where can we just be more efficient with what we're doing? And similarly with calibration, it's kind of, well, how can we get all that done whilst looking at our focus fours and doing our day-to-day and reacting to some of the operational challenges that are coming up, just making sure that everybody kind of knows what they're doing and how we're going to get the best out of it. So it's kind of it's kind of like I said before, it's a lot going on, but we're now getting into a clearer place of, okay, how can we drive a bit more efficiency and then look at driving the growth and driving the revenues.
Who are the stakeholders of the partner network, Iain?
Wow, that's a great question. I would say everybody's a stakeholder.
Let me rephrase that. Who are the executives leading the charge?
So Greg O'Neill is our senior leader. He's the business owner of the global network. But obviously for EMEA, Stuart Harvey is kind of responsible there for EMEA, and then Rob McTague and Mike Jansen over the LATAM region. So there's a lot of senior executive focus and engagement across the global network. But yeah, I come back to what I said just now. It's really all of us, because if you think about it, we're a global customer, we're a global company with global customers, and you're only as strong as your weakest link. So we've all got to kind of work together to make sure our global network is where we want it to be.
That's a really good tie to what you said at the front end of the podcast, Iain, which was it's about the brand, and we all are the brand, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as the individual contributor that may never, ever really touch the partner network and may never even actually have experience interacting with the partners, how can we better support you?
We do get a lot of support. And again, on behalf of the whole global network team, I just want to thank the business, because, everybody does help. And like I say, from the global summit this year, we raised a lot of awareness, and we've had a lot of offers of, okay, how can we help? What do you need? And it's great. We're getting the support we need. I think probably the next focus, and this is kind of looking at 2019, is just how can we be smarter internally. So a lot, as I mentioned before, a lot of our administrative stuff, we've got loads of reports banging around on spreadsheets and all sorts. If we could get that to a more automated technology dashboard focus, and I'm not technical, this probably comes across as I'm speaking, but if we could kind of get that into Tableau or something like that we could use, the exec team could use, even our partners could just log in and see their dashboards, it would kind of make things a lot easier and a lot better. So I think that's kind of an area of focus. But I would say in general, we do get a lot of support.
And I'm going to include all of your details for any listeners that have questions or comments or even thoughts on how they can help accelerate that for you, Iain, and for your team. Great work, and thank you for the overview. Like I said, many people have been asking for you and your team, so I'm glad that we were able to hopefully iron out some of the questions. Iain, one of my favorite pieces of the podcast is to get to ask you 5 rapid questions where you throw your best rapid response. Are you ready?
I'll give it a go.
All right, question number 1. Does Iain, not your family, does Iain currently own any stuffed animals?
No, he doesn't.
Very good. Question number 2. What is the maximum number of sprays you believe an aftershave or cologne should have before it's too much?
2.
Good call. Question number 3. Iain, do you prefer to ask for permission or beg for forgiveness?
I would kind of say I ask permission.
Glad to hear it. And then finally, being from London, Iain, how many Ron Weasleys / redheads are you friends with?
None.
Oh, not even one. No Weasleys running around London. That's fine. But my favorite question number 5 is, what is the most favorite part of your working for the partner network / BCD Travel?
Oh, every day is different. The partners are wonderful, wonderful people. If people listening to this podcast haven't got in touch with any of them, I would recommend they do. These are exciting, often entrepreneurial people in markets that we just don't know that much about. So I would say, pick up the phone, send an email, just kind of have a chat to these people, because it's what makes life really interesting.
You are a scholar and a gentleman, Mr. Iain Withers. Thank you so much for your input today and sharing with us about your partner network. We appreciate having you.
Thanks, Chica. Enjoyed it.
And I guess that's it. If this was a square dance, Iain, the lights would come on and the DJ would come over and say, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Another great week, another great episode of A World of BCD, and your home fun for this week is to share episode 8 with 3 friends. Ready, set, go. We'll see you next week.